Hi, I'm Jeff Reinhardt, strength and conditioning coach at Winona State University. And today we're going to kind of talk about one of those kind of underused type of movements that you can do with a really large group in a short period of time that I think is just fantastic for you. It's the Glute-Ham raise. And there is a Glute-Ham machine out there, but we're going to really talk from a scenario where we can do it from a padded surface. First, what is kind of the Glute-Ham all about? The Glute-Ham movement is really trying to strengthen the hamstrings, the glute. It even has a little bit of calf work that's involved in it, but it is really an importance put on strengthening the hamstrings. Why? Because obviously in a lot of sporting venues, the hamstrings become an area that get injured very frequently. And why is that? It's because the forces that are put upon it, if you have great quad strength and the forces that are generated by you running or whatever, your hamstrings need to be able to counteract or to be able to absorb those forces. The hamstring itself is made up really of three muscles. It's a semimembranosus, a semitendinosus, and the biceps femoris. It ties in right up under your hip, the ischial tuberosity area here, and then it kind of wraps around and catches both part of your tib and your fib and wraps in through there. So it really is the braking. It generates force. It also helps the braking as you're slowing down, all those types of things. And so increasing its overall strength is extremely important and actually pretty easy. A lot of people like to do leg curl. I think this is much better than a leg curl. Frequently all you have is like 1 or 2 leg curl machines. So trying to get a large group, it becomes very difficult. Same thing with the Glute-Ham machine. We've got a couple here at Winona State, but we only have a few. And so if I'm trying to get 80 to 100 people through it in a short period of time, it's just not very practical. So what we do is, during a part of our weightlifting session, is we'll line them all up. Everybody gets either on a padded surface or they just go get an ab mat. They can fold it if they need to, and they get a partner. Now you want the partner to be very close in weight, because when they have to hold you down, you really need them to secure you to the ground. If they're not, it's going to make this movement extremely difficult. So we're going to go through some basic steps of how to begin. What I have everybody do, and I'll turn sideways so you can kind of see, Gunner's going to help me today. He's just going to be the person that's going to hold me down. So I'm going to start, set your knees kind of right up under you. He's going to hold me down nice and tight, very firm. I want to stay really straight, okay, from about my head all the way down to my knees, straight as I can. But as a beginner, all I'm going to do is just kind of the down phase or eccentric phase. So I'm going to start with their hands in this position, and I literally tell them, put your hands out in front of you, and then what I want them to do is kind of slowly go down and fight that best they can, as slow as they can. Then I'll have them straighten their arms up and then kind of push themselves back up. Okay? As you go along and you can work your way through that. That'll take a little while. It's not that easy. They have a tendency to break at the hips and want to kind of swing their hips back a little bit, but really have them work. Keep their hands out here, because if you don't tell them to, they're going to swing down and hit their nose, but you want them to control it nice and slow on the way down, kind of come under control. And then they can extend their arms and pull themselves back up. Again, when you start to pull yourself back up, you also want to be able to do that with the hamstrings themselves. The next phase that you can move to is as you go down, you're controlling yourself down, okay? Then you're going to do a razor curl, which you kind of bring your hips back or you break your hips. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to pull yourself up, okay? When you get a little bit better at this, and it's not an easy thing to do, you're going to try to do the full movement. So we're going to try to control ourselves down, and all I'm saying to them as we're going down is slow, control, because you're going to get out at about a 45 degree, and you're going to want to crash down because that's where it gets difficult. So I really want them to move as slow as they can, nice and straight, all the way down, then try to, as quickly as they can, pull themselves back up. Again, it's not always a real easy movement to do, but once you kind of work your way through that, it's a great strengthening exercise. If you've never done it, believe me, you're going to find out what your hamstrings are in a very short period of time, because they're going to yell out at you very quickly. Sometimes guys or whoever is doing it will get a cramp. Just have them kind of straighten that cramp out or work that cramp out and get right back to it. But again, a great exercise that you can do with an entire group. Again, we'll do 40, 50 guys at any one given time doing this. Line them right down the line and have them go. On your command tends to work out the best because you can see the form, you can work on the technique all at the same time. Start at those beginning phases, work your way up to being able to do a full Glute-Ham. Again, great movement for your hamstrings, great way to resist those injuries or prevent some of those injuries, and overall something that will really help that hamstring.